Hello, hello. I haven't done one of these in a while, but I felt good, and I thought I'd do it. And today we're doing whiskey, and we have Woodford Reserve. This is called Distillery Select, although this is, to my knowledge, their flagship brew. So, I mean, a spirit, we should say. It's, you don't need to see the price so clearly, but it's not, it's not really a high price bourbon. It's a medium high. This usually goes about 32, 34 for 750s, 62 to 68 to 70 for 175s, and so it's a little more expensive than Makers. About the same as Makers 46 actually, and fairly widely available. You can get this pretty much anywhere, and it's a good whiskey. It's an excellent whiskey, in fact. Very different than Makers, and we'll talk about that. Now, this on the 1.75 bottle, which says you kind of do. Look at my hand position here, if we can get that. Okay, you see that? I've got both hands on the bottle, and the reason is these 1.75s tend to be hard to pour, and I find this is the only way to get it to pour without losing a little bit. So let's give ourselves a nice healthy pour. Didn't lose any. That was the go. And let's move this so we can kind of see the spirit. Beautiful color. You'll notice a little darker than Makers. Can everybody's sure that's not caramel? Don't know if they put in caramel in this or not. Might be worth a thing, but this is a beautiful little whiskey. We'll put the bottle back so you guys can have something to look at here. So let's take a sniff. Hint of vanilla there. Strong oak though. Woodford has much more of an oak smell than say Makers does, although the vanilla still comes through. Have a little clear my palate a little bit. Strong hint of whiskey. Obviously, it's hard to say whiskey, but it's almost like we associate that with like maybe butterscotch. So let's have a taste. Excellent. It really hits you. It's got some nice spicy notes there. Hint of coconut comes through, interestingly enough, as well as all the tastes I described. This is a wheated, I believe. This is This is not overaged. You don't get the taste, the tingle on the tongue. Tongue tingles a little bit more than it does with some whiskeys, but it doesn't. No, not a hit of over mature. Nice smooth flavor. Oak notes come through, and probably that's what I'm getting the coconut from. I do recommend cutting it just a little bit. I think Woodford is 94 proof. Let me see. No, it's 90.4, so it's 45%. It probably needs to be cut a little bit. It opens up it opens up some of the oil. Now I'm even smelling that little hint of coconut. As I you gotta kind of turn the cup so you see just like that. That helps you get the smell out. Let it kind of just ease out. Very nice. Now that my tongue is getting used to it, it's a very smooth one. We've got a nice complexity to it. Just a great little whiskey. or big whiskey, really. Nothing small about it. Very much a sipping one, though, because it's got some bite to it. Like all whiskeys, I guess. And saying whiskey has bite to it's kind of redundant, isn't it? Unless you've really watered it down. Nice smell. Always smell your whiskey, by the way. It's something if you don't nose it, you're really missing out on I would say 40% of the experience, maybe more. I mean, you can really get a sense of the. If you want to, when you smell it. At least for me, I'm not good at describing it. I'm not one of those people who can really give you a detailed description, but I want to taste. I want to smell different things. I want the sense of, even if I can't name what it is, I want that complexity. And Woodford has, at least 3 or 4 different things. Now, since I open it up a little bit with the water, some sweeter notes have been released, I think. Nice. I mean, it's just goes down really good. I mean, it's very even, and so it doesn't have as many things as you might describe as some. The oak and the wood are heavily there, but they don't dominate to the extent they do in some over matured ones. Because what you don't want. When you drink whiskey, is it ought to be oak, or barrel, you might say. You want to get some of the nuances of the spirit. The goal is to the bottle at that point where you get the harmony of the spirit and the barrel, and I don't know, but I always get the sense Woodford is a little more matured than Makers, but doesn't go overboard. And in many ways, it's the competition in my mind with Makers. I always associate the two. Because both have that taste of vanilla too, although a lot of bourbons have that. I would say again, Woodford hits more spice notes, and but it's not an extremely spicy whiskey. It's not like a rye. It's be much more spiced, or rye-based ones. When you think of spicy whiskeys that really hit you as spicy, they tend to be a rye, and I don't believe Woodford is. I'd have to check, but I don't believe it is. I strongly recommend it though if you can afford it. It's a little pricey though. At least for a bourbon, because there are really a lot of bourbons, and we'll go through that you can get for $20 to $30 for $7.50, and Makers being one of the most obvious examples of that. But there are several. Gentleman's Jack, or Gentleman Jack, is another one. Buffalo Trace is an excellent whiskey in that price range. All the Bullets, Bullet Rye, Bullet Frontier, both within that range. There's no shortage. Jim Beam's Devil's Cut will review at some point, and that's pretty good. And so these are all whiskeys that are cheaper than Woodford that are really really good. And but I don't know if any of them are better than Woodford. Woodford's a really good whiskey, and one that I think I keep in stock. And I recommend you do as well. Anyway, that's all I got time for. Thank you.